Morning decisions. A creamy mocha frappuccino drink? A sweet vanilla? Maybe a smooth caramel? Or that white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Start your day with bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drinks. Pick up a bottle near you wherever you buy your groceries.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a quick word from one of our sponsors, Apex Lab. Elevate your coffee experience with Apex Lab Mineral Concentrates. Apex Lab's precision-engineered formulas, including tonic, jam, and lilac, are designed to enhance the coffee's natural flavors. Not going to change it, it's just going to enhance it. It's going to bring out the vibrant acidity, the rich sweetness, or if you use lilac, it might bring out those delicate floral notes that you've been looking for. Trusted by world-class cafes and even barista champions, Apex Lab helps you unlock your coffee's full potential. Discover more at apexlab.com. Wait, where was that again, Sonam?
The internet.
Oh, okay. Thought I was going to say the website. Thanks.
Today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors at Eco Barista. The reason I sound like this is because they got massages at our stand at Mice, and so I'm getting a massage while recording this message for you. They're the best sponsor of the pod that we could have had. They have the best eco products. This probably sounds really pornographic, but it's not. I'm just getting a massage. They have the best eco-friendly coffee products. They got coffee bags that you can design yourself. They got cups. They got iced coffee cups. They got everything you need. So make sure to support them because they support us. Head to ecobarista.com.au and get 15% off your first purchase when you sign up. Oh, mama, that's good.
Coffee break in 3, 2, 1.
Whoa, we're back.
We're back, baby.
You off your chocolate high? You off your chocolate high? Because I'm not. I'm peaking.
I'm not. I hear that that's actually a more sustainable energy source. You know, some 100% Mörk chocolate.
Is that true or you made that up?
I am making that up.
Oh, okay. But I'm feeling it. I'm feeling jazzed up. Those if you're looking down, those mocha almonds that they use the Patricia coffee for. Oh, right.
Stunning. They're actually delicious.
Josephine's saying that they're really high in caffeine. I was like, maybe they are.
It's a little too late now. Yeah. Now, we start our coffee breaks with a coffee. Kiril disclosed that, you know, his amazing history in the AeroPress world. And he was like, I make an AeroPress every single morning. They've got the XL AeroPress and his whole kind of recipe. I was like, you know what? I'm going to follow your recipe. So Kiril, thank you so much. It has turned out a treat. His whole kind of premise was that it was about 60 grams per liter. And so kind of pulling that back, that's about like for the XL is about 30. He does like 31 grams. Pre-wet, inverted, coffee in halfway through, agitate, then fill up, and then it's about a minute 45. And the quote was, a minute 45, but if there's porridge on the ground, it's when the porridge is done. And then, we put the filter back on and then, plunge through and Bob's your uncle. But like some of the Mörk chocolate that they brought in today, we went with a Bolivian kind of blend, a single origin, Bolivian from our main men, our Rumble. Now cherry, dark chocolate, mandarin. And I'm going to try it right now.
Let me get Slurpees.
It's as perceived on packet. Cherry, dark chocolate, and mandarin.
You know what? After eating all that chocolate and then drinking this, there's a lot of similarities between the chocolate and this, especially the Bolivian one that we had, which is great. I mean, obviously, unfortunately for you guys, you didn't get to taste everything, but what did you think of the assault on your senses that just occurred, Liam?
I was shook. I think maybe I just had really low expectations. I mean, for me, I was like chocolate to chocolate to chocolate. I know there's good chocolate and there's like average chocolate, but I didn't realize how good chocolate could be or how kind of like how deep chocolate could go. Just like a whiskey or a wine or anything like that. It was kind of crazy to like have someone walk you through like the flavor notes of stuff. And like I went in, like my whole experience was Josephine gave me like 100% piece. They gave us both. And it was crazy, like the depth of flavor, and it was just like, yes, it's dark and it's bitter and all these things. And I love like an espresso and filter coffee and those things. And on the cocktail train, I'll probably go, I'll have a Negroni and old fashioned, anything that has a kick. But going from that kind of 100% to the 68% sweet, delicious treat. Yeah, I tasted like banana and all these tropical notes, and it was just so much fun.
And I think what you were talking about is just that world of chocolate that we've never really explored in great depth. Origin, traceability is obviously always there, but then also just like championing the actual flavor within the chocolate, not just looking at chocolate like a base flavor. It's the same as coffee. And I think that was one of the great things about having them on the podcast, was seeing the similarities and the parallels that run between the two universes of both coffee and chocolate. Yes, they're complementary flavors, but when you can actually go into depth and you explore them and you find out what goes into it, and then finding, Josephine saying at the end, chocolate should be more than coffee. There's even more processed than coffee. So shut up.
Yeah. I mean, I think it made me kind of self-reflect. I mean, through the whole like surprise and the storytelling of like, their love for chocolate, it made me realize that how little, what's the word? Little, like I would never go hot chocolate, I'd get that there's something like childish about, you would get, it's the substitute for your like little cousin, or like when you're,
it's baby steps.
It's, you say baby chino, you say hot chocolate next when they're old enough to hold that cup. But I would never put it in the same realm as like a V60 specialty grade filter blend. They're just in my mind, like the branding behind it. And so to have someone kind of just quietly bring you into a world where it's like, it's actually on par, if not above, was just, I loved it. It's so fun to find a new world.
I also quite enjoyed, just that last few podcasts that we've done with Ollie and then Nathan, and then having like a mix of the two there. So it was almost like the two people were in the same room together, but in a completely different context for chocolate, but both, talking about the issues at the moment with the labor force, but then also issues with what's going on with supply, what's going on with demand, what's going on with the environment. And it's nice to know, I know it sounds macabre, but it's nice to know that other people are going through the same things. But we should be also, the reason I say it's nice, because we should all be at some level educated enough to be able to sympathize for people and be like, that's why this costs so much. That's why the value of this has risen, because you can't get it as much anymore. There's people, Josephine didn't go into any details, but they were saying that, one of those lots that got bought out from them was a very big conglomeration that stole that lot of cacao from them off the port. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, imagine the David and Goliath story underneath that. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's also like leans towards if things are more expensive, people are going to buy less. You need to know where to buy it. If you're going to buy it, like people are going to lean towards like a higher quality thing, or like guaranteed experience. Not necessarily a higher quality. I know there's like great stuff all around, but I think knowing that there is a guaranteed level of excellence that you're going to get, we kind of chatted a little bit on the side about how like this Easter was very different for my family. Like I know there's the Kris Kringle families out there around Christmas. Like everyone just gets one gift. I'm very much we lean into that traditional. More presents means a better Christmas, and same thing with Easter. It's like the more Easter eggs you can fill in a bag, the better. But you never touch it. Those eggs end up like just going complete like off.
They're gross, yeah.
They're disgusting. And so this year it's funny. Like I wish we did this pod just before Easter, because we I think I got leaned into like a cocoa black. Is it cocoa black?
Yep.
Yeah. Thing. And just got individual little things, and it just made the whole thing so much better, just like leaning into like, just get a beautiful product that and you can guarantee and you trust, and actually give an experience. And
speaking of experiences, Josephine, the way that she dealt with us talking about, do you go for viral forward drinks? Do you do this? Do you do that? And like they completely rejected social media in terms of they don't consume it. They're not active consumers of it at all. They're not really paying too much attention to the outside world. They're doing their thing. But she was driving a lot of those drinks and a lot of those flavors and a lot of those combinations from her experiences. and her like life growing up in Sweden, her life obviously becoming a specialty coffee roaster there for a little bit, and then moving to Australia, and the way that she could speak to flavors from Australian flavors to Swedish flavors to then be like, no, let's talk about the authenticity inside the chocolate flavors. Unbelievable. And I think when we were in that room together, when you're with people that are at the top of their game right now and they're current and they're still going through it, the passion just bleeds out of them, doesn't it?
Oh my God.
Didn't it feel special? Like,
yeah. I mean, you hear about like, there's one thing having a successful business and all these things, but the fact that on the forefront of that whole story was the fact that she still carves out time in her weekly schedule to play, to navigate her field with a sense of fun. And like, that little bit at the end, she was talking about like white chocolate. I mean, the kicker is white chocolate is not real chocolate, but she's like, it's an amazing vessel. Like as much as I don't, the purists only have the 100%, cacao chocolate. She's like white chocolate, even though it's like heavily like oil based or whatever the kind of breakdown, it pairs well with all the kind of flavors that she wouldn't naturally get to play around with. She was messing around with some like white chocolate and elderflower things. And I'm like, what a fun place to be in. And just from a culinary place, or like just from like the breakdown of their signature drink, the fireplace chocolate.
Campfire hot chocolate. Yep.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Campfire hot chocolate. Full experience, from smoking the theater of an experience and bringing her childhood forward and everything. There's something I love the creativity that is still thriving in that kind of duality between both of them as well, actually.
I think the other things, like my key takeaways were learning about the genetic purity of the cacao and understanding that that's what leads to the excellence within the product. And you're just like, wow, all right. So there is still like a thoroughbred sort of aspect to this, like to getting the purest form and the best flavor is not muddying the waters too much, which in terms of a sustainability practice for cacao itself, that's not going to work. That we all know that doesn't work. You can't do that. The lineage like that just doesn't work because that's contra to evolution. So that was super interesting to find out. And the other one was also just finding out that she did roast coffee there for a while as a little sabbatical that she took in the middle. That is hilarious.
Yeah, she was working on like pretty big roasters and absolutely punching it out. And then that approach to roasting coffee kind of informed the way that she dealt with,
roasting cacao.
Yeah. So good.
Don't you think also the way she spoke about all the different parts of the experience when you're drinking that drink or eating that chocolate, where you've got the intensity and then you've got the reprieve, you've got the texture and then you've got the sweetness, and being able to speak about all those different elements at once. And not once did she talk about what it would look like. Not once.
Yeah, you're right.
It was all just about the pure experience of what it's going to feel like in your mouth and like all the different steps that you're going to go through, and also aromatically. I think that's one of those, you're at another level when you can think like that.
100%.
Yeah, you're not relying on old flavor combos that you're not like, oh yeah, that's right, that goes with that, that'll always go with that. It's like, no, I can build.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about that. I think what we're talking about is like a presence of the product and a presence of the experience. And she's at the forefront, like almost like showing, she's like, this is how I enjoy it and what I'm looking for, and like totally takes your hand through the whole experience and why she loves it and what she experiences from one bite. And it even showed that, like, we kind of put them in the hot seat with like a few hilarious questions, like what are you going if you go to a supermarket or stuff like that. And it led us down a conversation about lint and about these things. And it's funny, like, that they definitely paid respect to lint just being able to punch out and put out such a consistent milk chocolate. And she's like, it's actually really amazing. But then the other side of that was like just leaning back into that whole presence of palate, that each bit of, like, going back to the genetics and like the terroir and everything, it's like she's finding new chocolate from all over. And like they've got stuff from Madagascar, from like
Nicaragua, Bolivia.
She was super excited about a Peru chocolate that she's
been vintaging.
Yeah. And it's like super floral and it's so fun to have someone come on here and just like guide us through something that just seems like in the back everyone has a relationship to chocolate, but not like that.
No. And I think going forward with more of these episodes, I'd love to get more people on that are complementary to the coffee industry. You know, the cafe world doesn't exist on its own. It's not just coffee. There's a lot of ingredients that go into it. One of the questions that I forgot to ask was about the sugars that they use. And I'm really kicking myself at the end of it because it's like, do you use sugars that are, you know, from the same origin as the cacao, or do you use sugars that have no flavor implications? So it would have been really interesting. I'm kicking myself that I missed that one. That's a me fault.
Well, I mean, she did mention that in the blending process and when they're choosing the ratios of things, that the reason I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but when you look at your dark chocolate, it will say quite a obscure number. Like it's very, it would be like 97%, 63%. And it's like, there is someone that is testing that and tasting and testing that to make sure that the outcome is delicious. You know what I mean? Like,
Speaking of tasting, how about that job as like to be the certified grader of the chocolate? You're just smashing chocolate bars all day. Don't eat me, I'm full of chocolate.
I just love chocolate.
Oh, it'd be so tough. So the last thing that I want to talk about was just how she's repurposing a lot of the cacao after they've, you know, the majority of the actual cacao seed or the nut or the pod, whatever you want to call it, is actually byproduct. There's a waste at the end of it. And they're using it to make tea. They're using it to using it in the chocolate making process, and they're also making cacao cola from it. And were they using it in the wrapping as well? Is that right?
Yeah. So I'm currently holding some of Mörk's. I've got a 68% Bolivian, this beautifully kind of folded paper packet. And they were saying that to get the color, this one's like this olive green, and it is made from olive husk or the seed, but all the other ones come from the cacao husks, and to create this matte, beautiful paper.
And that's a reflection of just how deep they are at thinking. They're just such deep thinkers, and everything has a story and a connection and a little bit. And, I think my favorite moment was when Kiril was talking about these ones here. They're the almond coated, the chocolate infused with coffee and tonka bean coated almonds. And it's, the coffee they use is from Patricia that doesn't even use their chocolate. But they don't care because they love the specialty industry so much and they've been around it for so long. And they thought if they're going to do it with someone that they really respect. So there's all those little aspects to it that I really enjoy. And then, we've probably spoken about those guys enough. It's probably time to speak about us, Liam. How you been? Let's have a quick catch up before we got to get on with it.
I've been good, training away, running around.
Are we training to anything in particular? Are we going for a goal?
Not really. I mean, KP's doing High Rocks in Sydney with a crew, and I went to see one of the High Rocks events. It's very popular at the moment. Do you know much about High Rocks?
I've seen it. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so it's kind of like a functional fitness test, but it's standardized. So like a triathlon where it's always a swim, ride, run, and they're exact distances. And so when you finish a triathlon, you have a triathlon time and you're like, cool, I'll beat that next time. This is the same thing with functional fitness. So you basically just do running and then ski, then run, then...
So it's like a training circuit, but then it's standardized,
it's
and you measure against that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And is it done in a team relay format, or does everyone do the whole thing?
All formats. So there's individual, there's duos, doubles, and then teams of 4, I think. And it's absolutely taken the world by storm at the moment. Tia Claire Tooming, who is the Australian CrossFit champ, has put down a world record already in a doubles. And anyway, I think I'll head that way. I went to one of the events, and the energy in those rooms are really fun and really thriving and young. And so I can see myself, but I'm not a fan of running. So I'm heavy.
I hate running. Don't get me wrong.
I'm heavy set.
It's got to be done. Yeah.
I'm good at the machines. I'm good at weight things, but running in particular, I'm not the best at.
What's the rule around wheelies in the High Rocks? The other shoes are little
Heelys. I thought you were referencing the.
No. Sorry, I meant Heelys.
Yeah. I mean, they should all
get you going.
Yeah. What about you? What's going on?
Not too much. I just I checked out the Toby's in Fitzroy over the weekend. Mm-hmm. Had a Kenyan SL8 varietal washed, very clean, nice blackcurrant flavors to it. pretty extensive menu, good freezer menu, a lot of familiar coffees that you've seen on there before. Took the kids, no marshmallows for the baby chinos. That was something that maybe someone needs to address there. My kids were very distraught.
No marshmallows.
Look, if I want to enjoy my coffee, I'm going to need that marshmallow there to occupy my kids for an extra 20 seconds while I have that coffee.
True.
But it was a great coffee, beautiful setup, great location. That place, that area around Fitzroy Markets and stuff on the weekend is absolutely buzzing.
What about the dessert that you experienced that you sent me?
Well, I did. I mean, we recently had Kentaro Okada on, and he's got Sebastian Kakagori, which is a dessert shop, or a shaved ice dessert. We went to the shop itself on Sunday. I took the kids with me. It sounds like I'm a single dad, but I'm not. My partner had her best friends in town, and I've just been doing a lot of solo parenting recently. And I took the kids, and there was some really good looking flavors on there and some really interesting combinations. But
like what?
There was obviously there's some matcha ones. There's some different types of cheese. There's a few crazier yuzu ones.
Cheese.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what like cheese. You know how like bubble tea has cheese on top, but it's not actually cheese. It's like something else adjacent to cheese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then there was like yuzu and all these other flavors that I absolutely love. Obviously, I'm with my kids. I can't go too deep. So I had the strawberry one with strawberry puree and a few other things, freeze-dried strawberries. Unbelievable. Like an actual, I mean, when Kentaro was describing it to us and he was like, yeah, it's like a snow cone. And I was like, yeah, okay. Very reductive to call this thing a snow cone.
Yeah,
The ice is obviously top-notch. The shaving mechanism is on another level. And then the actual flavors are amazing. But the kids absolutely loved it. My son probably gave it, like a 6 out of 10. It wasn't his thing. My daughter gave it like a 10 out of 10. So it gives you a good idea of where that stands. So it was a great experience. I'd highly recommend everybody tries that dessert at least once. I'd probably like to go back with a more mature friend to try a more complex flavor profile next. Because I think strawberries and cream, it's kind of like, it's always just going to be strawberries and cream, but you're there for the kids, so you're doing it. But also this is the last one of me alone. It's Rowan's back, guys. Thank God.
Back, baby.
Thank God. It's been hard. I'm not going to lie. It's been a very good time, but it's been also, you got to put a lot of effort into these things. So you just don't turn on the pod and turn up and just be like, all right, let's talk about something. You got to put a little background in. We've got to chat to the guests that are coming through. We've got to make sure they're happy with what we're saying, what we're doing. Then you've got to orchestrate a time that works for everybody. Then you've got to orchestrate a time within the office, within the media system here to make sure it all happens at the same time. And then you've got to just lock in for, half to full day just doing this, what we're doing right now. Yeah. So anybody that wants to start a podcast, think about that twice.
I think it's been really nice to see you get better in this role. I know it's only been a second, but it's been long enough to see, you attack this and for you to kind of see the back end of this as well. Yeah,
well, look, if I'm going to do anything, I'll probably do it as hard as I can. It's the same thing Kiril was saying. If we do it 120. That's what we do. So it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm not going to lie, I have been a bit self-indulgent with the guests that I got on. A few of them was just catch-ups for me, people that I don't get to see very often, and had the discussion with Josephine and Kiril at the end. It's like, it's so nice because if we went out for dinner, you'd be talking about how are the kids, what vacation are you going on, all that sort of dumb stuff. But to be able to just knuckle down and talk shop, talk something with some intent and an agenda is such a refreshing way to catch up with someone. Tolman was awesome. And I'm really looking forward to what's coming up in the next few weeks. I'm actually away, so you'll be back on with Rowan and Liam. I'm going to the hills. I'm actually going back to Kathmandu for my grandfather's 100th birthday. So
Kathmandu itself.
I will be Kathmanduing it. That's right.
Do you bring your Kathmandu jacket as well?
No, I'm not in the Kathmandu gear. I've got heaps of other stuff, but it's actually monsoon over there at the moment. So it's like 30 degrees. It's going to be stinking hot. It's a horrible, my cousin that organised this has organised it only beneficial to her schedule. So this is going to be an absolute nightmare, but we're going to have a big catch up and then the celebration on Friday. And then after that, we're going, my cousins and I are going for a big 4-day hike. So just a bit of family bonding experience.
4-day hike's big.
Yeah, 4-day hike's good. I think it'll probably hit about 4,000 or something. Yeah, around 4,000 meters. And then coming back via Thailand. So I'm hoping to catch up with our old mate Park. You might remember Brew Boy. Yeah, I'm hoping to catch up with him when I'm in Bangkok. So.
I still think about the Jaguar stories in the coffee
unreal,
farms.
Aren't they? Unreal. I mean, you look back on it now, you're like, wish we had more time with that guy to do it properly. But
that was episode 3.
Yeah, I pulled him in.
Episode 3. We're now at 106.
just keeps kicking on. Hey, does that mean it's getting close to the birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What
We
are
might
going
have
to do?
clicked over already.
Oh, God damn it. We'll have to do a retrospective birthday. We'll have to
love
do
that.
something.
Yes.
Something's going to have to be done. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, Starbucks coming in next week. So
The back end of Starbucks. Incredible.
you're going through the back door of Starbucks, essentially. You're getting in through the back. You're going to see it all. You're going to hear about it all in a bit more depth. But yeah, until then, I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks' time. I might jump back on depending on how that next host is coming along. And then I guess probably you and I are going to start our own podcast. Is that right, Liam?
Surely. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure over here kind of having you step in,
Yeah.
So thank you. Thanks
That's right. Look, I mean,
for bringing it.
Yeah, thank you. I did enjoy it. It was nice. Like I said, good way to catch up with everyone. So hopefully we can do some more of these.
Also have the best time. I can't
I'll
wait
try.
to hear.
I'll try.
Can't wait to hear the
I'll try.
stories.
You know what I'm like.
Yeah, exactly.
Very opportunistic of a good time.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Oh, I won't see you. Liam will see you next week, and I might see you in a fortnight.
That's it. Coffee break over.